Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm very sorry that I couldn't be there today. Had some, yeah, anyway, uh, car trouble. It's never fun, but I still want to do a class with you. And there's a class that I realized after we did the Friday class that there was one that I promised I would finish up. And those are certain myths that need to be debunked because there are certain things that people believe. Again, we hear them on television. We hear them from our friends, our families, our school teachers, even like throughout time, and even our doctors sometimes say these things. So I want to go over the rest of them that are myths. And then for the second part of the class today, we'll have a quiz just so that, there are some other myths that you can actually learn from that really are just myths. And a myth, you know what? I'm going to look up the word right now. So give me one moment. Okay, so I'm going to go to Merriam-Webster. But there is beauty in myth. There's a person named Joseph Campbell. If you ever have a chance to look him up or anything, or maybe one day I'll just send out a class on something that he explains as myth. But he has a whole series called "The Power of Myth." Now, myth is, well, it's up to you to decide. But here is from Merriam-Webster definition of myth. A usually traditional story of ostensibly historical events that serves to unfold part of the worldview of a people or explain a practice, belief, or natural phenomenon. Um, Number two, it's a popular belief or tradition that has grown up around something or someone, one embodying the ideals and institutions of a society or a segment of society. And then, of course, there is the um, last one, an unfounded or false notion. So, that people can fly or, you know. And then the next one is a person or thing having only imaginary or unverifiable existence, such as the Superman myth or the unicorn is a myth or, flying is a myth or, there's certain things that we don't know. It's unverifiable. But there is power in myth. Um, so for many people, the very word myth is synonymous with falsehood. And sometimes the opposite is true, religious or otherwise, and are those stories that shape our understanding of reality, of how we see the world, and our place in it. So, though they might be unverifiable, it is something that has kind of defined who we are. But some of them, and this is what we're doing with this class, are myths that are they're actually they've been debunked. So it was something that was told, and people believed it, but then, through science, which is, I love science because it actually starts to do things that do things well. And they find out it's like, actually, this isn't really true. And we've done a lot of research to find this out. But there are some things that you can't really do that much research about. So here we go. We left off lastly, and so I'm moving on to the next one. But this myth is that carrots um, improve eyesight. Oh man, my thing is not working. Let's see. There we go. So, do carrots improve eyesight? And hey, and as a person with glasses, I was always told to eat carrots. Um, so, is that true? It's a myth. They don't. They are healthy, though. Yeah, that's a good thing. So, this one's going to make a lot of carrot enthusiasts feel very betrayed. Dun, dun, dun. So how did this fable come about? Well, it's true that carrots are a trusted and reliable source of our old dear friend vitamin A. And though vitamin A deficiency can lead to night blindness, as in difficulty seeing in the dark, which maybe I should eat more carrots, a vitamin A surplus doesn't particularly affect vision. In short, carrots help retain eyesight, not improve it. So, which is it's a myth, but it's also there we go right there. It's not exactly false, but if you keep eating carrots, your eyesight will be retained or stay healthy throughout your time. But it's not going to make it better. It's not like, okay, well, hey, guess what? Hey, like 10 bags of carrots, now I can see through walls. That's a myth. A myth. Next myth, it's dangerous to wake sleepwalkers. I don't know how many of you, I don't know if any of you have ever slept walked. I've done it before, and people have said you're not supposed to wake them because apparently something catastrophic will happen, which we'll find out by this. But it's a myth. So, in reality, they'll be confused, but that's okay. They may hurt themselves by sleepwalking. Um, the two times I was ever caught sleepwalking, I made a sandwich and ate a sandwich and then went right back to bed. Is what my friend or my my significant other at the time was just like, yeah, I didn't wake you up, but you made a sandwich, you ate it, you went back to bed. I was trying to talk to you, you didn't respond, and it happens. But I've only done it twice, and apparently I just really needed some food. But but they may hurt themselves by sleepwalking. I mean, you could crash into things because you honestly, I don't remember any of it. You are sleeping, so you could like crash into something, maybe grab something you're not supposed to. But my significant other said that I made a sandwich very professionally, ate it, put all my dishes in the sink, and then went right back to bed, and I was still asleep the whole time. So let's picture this, and this is what the myth says. It's late at night. The house is quiet. Everyone's already gone to sleep, so where is that noise coming from? You go and check it out, and what is that's going on? Actually, catching a sleepwalker red-handed is straight up scary, so I'm sure my significant other was scary at the time. Once you've calmed down, however, you really should lead them back to bed. She didn't do that. She let me make the sandwich, and I had a knife. I cut it in half and everything. There's nothing dangerous about a sleepwalker, though they may be a bit confused, feel a bit confused, and the actual sleeping could potentially be dangerous. So, if you do see somebody, it's best to actually wake them up and take them back to bed. There were popular myths where, like, if you wake somebody during a dream, they might, like, die or something. I heard that somewhere. And again, these are myths that have just, gone throughout history. Best thing to do is be like, hey, buddy, I think you, for some reason, wandered out of bed. Let's go back to bed. But these are good things to know. The more you know. Myth, going out with wet hair makes you sick. I have definitely heard this growing up in Utah. Um, just saying, say, take a shower, it's snowing outside, you go to school, walk to school, you get frost and everything in your hair because your hair's still wet. Well, reality, wet hair has nothing to do with getting sick. While Grams may have warned us not to go outside with a wet head, wet hair has pretty much nothing to do with getting sick. Colds are caught by catching viruses, which aren't particularly attracted to wet hair. Problem solved. No need to frantically dry your scalp every time you take out the trash or apparently walk to school. One thing I would worry about is you don't want hypothermia, and no matter what it is, getting that cold, because your heat escapes through your head. So it will actually dry your hair pretty fast. But, the best thing is to stay warm, bundle up everything else if it's really cold outside. But just having wet hair, it ain't going to make you sick. Another myth, bats are blind. Okay, again, I've not ever really seen any of these, but they don't see well. It's my prediction. But they're not blind. Okay, so in reality, no, they're just too stuck up to use their eyes. Maybe I'm wrong. Look at them. Look at those bats, looking all high and mighty with their fancy sonars and echolocations, which they do use through sonars. It's the echoes they can hear things bouncing off. They think they're better than us. This is, again, kind of a Facebook thing. Seeing as they prefer to use their enhanced hearing instead of their eyes, which are perfectly functional and in some cases better than human eyes. Okay, so I was wrong. My apologies. Like I said, I didn't read it, so it just proves that I'm not lying to you. But actually, they have really good eyes, but they're nocturnal. So, how well do our eyes actually work at night? During the day, I mean, right now, I can open up this curtain and be like, oh, look out there. It's bright. I see the color of these flowers, the color of the fence right there, all that. At night, if I did the same thing, I wouldn't see so well. Next one, myth. The Great Wall of China is visible from space. Hey, I have always heard that was true. This is not cool. So the reality is, sorry, not even close. Though the Great Wall of China is one of the most impressive cultural achievements of the ancient era, boasting a rich cultural history filled with epic tales of kings and dynasties, it just isn't visible from space. It is, however, visible on the internet, which means we can just Google image um, and pretend we're there. So it is really beautiful. But no, so from space, you can see certain things that are grand from space, but not the Great Wall of China. But I always heard that. Myth, shaving thickens hair. This is funny because my stepfather always told me that you need to shave more if you actually want a beard. Which, so in reality, no, newly grown hair just looks thicker. This one goes all the way back to. Sorry, this one goes out to all the late bloomers obsessively shaving their non-existent facial hair in a desperate attempt to grow a beard. We feel your pain, but it just won't work. The game was rigged from the start. Shaven hair only looks thicker since it grows back with a blunt tip, but it isn't actually chunkier or darker. So if you want to grow a beard or anything, really what I've heard, and again, this could be a myth, but it's probably not going to come up, but it just let it grow. It'll eventually fill in a little bit more. Myth. Enslaved people built the pyramids. That's a myth. Reality, they didn't. And I'm sorry for those of you who believe in aliens. It wasn't even aliens. According to some etymologists, which is a fancy word for this is rude, pyramid nerds. Now that's just being rude. Because actually, I know somebody who is an etymologist, and they get to go to Egypt all the time and study the pyramids, and they do really love it, but it's because it's amazing. It's kind of like making fun of Indiana Jones because he's an archaeologist. He's not a nerd. He's awesome, and he finds all sorts of cool stuff. Anyway, but constructing the pyramid was considered a great honor reserved for only the most respected laborers. Those who did get the job were granted the privilege of being buried near the ancient wonders themselves. So, yeah, so actually helping to build, they always show like people being whipped or beaten to like, you go build that pyramid, and that was actually a great honor, and people were happy to build it, which is probably why it looks so well. When people aren't happy in their work, then they're like, yeah, I don't care. I'll just throw that right over there. Always be happy in their work, by the way. Another myth. Einstein failed math, which I have heard that one before. So, no way. Einstein was a math whiz. Out of everything he could have failed, math, it's Einstein. The guy just had a math brain. Numbers were in there, knew them. How could he have failed math? He did, however, fail a college entrance exam for Polytechnic School in Zurich. Do you know what part of the test he actually passed? You guessed it, it was math. So, anytime y'all go to college and you have to take your entrance exam, like for me, I actually didn't do so well at math, and I had to start at the bottom. And I'm actually pretty good at math, but I had to build my way up back after high school because I had forgotten a lot. But they give you tests, and so the one that he failed at was not so much math. Myth: bananas grow on trees. In reality, they grow on massive herbs that look like trees. So they're actually herbs, not trees. And this is good. So, yep, not a tree, a plant, a herb, if you will. We've also got another banana fact up our sleeve. Bananas actually grow upside down, as illustrated in there's a photograph. Look up bananas and how they grow. Another thing you may have noticed in the photograph is that bananas are red. That's actually a thing. Australia is home to the red Dhaka banana. And another thing I found out is the way, if you ever notice the way, we peel bananas, we usually take the stem and peel it back. If you watch a monkey eat a banana, that's not the way they eat it. They actually hold on to it. Um, they actually hold on to the stem where we peel it from, and they peel it from the top and use that just as a handle, which actually makes a lot more sense if you think about it. But I've really tried, since I learned that, peeling it, and it's really hard to peel it the other way. So I don't know. I got to watch that monkey do it. So myth: the Earth has four oceans. So what are the four oceans? You have the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian, and the Arctic. Those are the four that we typically know of. So, but now we have five, according to this. In 2000, scientists came to the conclusion that they were wrong all along. The great body of water encircling the world that was thought to be divided into four separate oceans, the ones I just named, today most countries recognize another ocean, the Southern Antarctic Ocean, which I always wondered about that. Let's welcome our new watery friend with open arms. So how is it you can have the Arctic and then the Antarctic, and you have an Arctic Ocean, but not an Antarctic Ocean? That always confused me. Now we have five. Sweetness and light. Okay, well, we're getting up there, and we're not done yet, so we might have part 3 of this at some point. But this will be the last one. So myth is caffeine dehydrates and stunts growth. So these are for the caffeine haters. But reality, note, coffee's all right. Everyone needs a cup of joe once in a while. Though caffeine does have a small diuretic effect, meaning you'll be running to the bathroom a bit more than usual. This is probably much offset by the water in every caffeinated drink. The whole stunting growth thing is also baseless. So, you know what, coffee, I guess you're okay. A problem with coffee is caffeine. Caffeine itself, this doesn't say anything about caffeine, it's just about caffeine and stunting growth. But it constricts your blood vessels, the caffeinated part, which in turn makes your heart beat faster, which in turn could give you heart problems in the future. So that's something that, we need to really think about. And I'll just, as a taste for the possible next class, there's a myth that bulls hate the color red. Do they? Why do they use red all the time when it comes to bullfighting? Which they shouldn't do because it's a terrible practice. But anyway, again, I'm really sorry I couldn't be there today. Please wish me well that my car gets fixed. And I will see you all later on. Ciao for now.